Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Siobhan. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to talk about goals and how I set up to meet my goals and how I have done it over the past couple of years. So I've done a lot of things in the past few years as far as my social media presence, my personal life, my well-being, home, family, and I've done so with this process that I put together for my own self, that I've taken from reading a lot about how to meet goals and just kind of coming up with a system that I set up for myself. You can read lots of articles, watch videos about goals. They talk about SMART goals. They have to be smart, specific, measurable, attainable, all of that stuff. But you can take from these resources to kind of formulate a plan for yourself. That's the good thing about creating your own goals and your own steps. You can make it specific to you and what you're capable of doing. So this is something that I say all the time when it comes to setting goals and people not achieving goals, and things not going as planned or goals not being met. I say that we make time for things that we really want to. So if this is something that I really want to work on, something that I really want to achieve, I'm going to achieve it. Unless there's some extenuating situation that occurred that prevents me from working on it, this is something that I'm going to work on. This is something that I'm going to meet. So one thing about goals that I set, I'm very realistic with my goals. I set goals that I really want, things that I'm passionate about, because if I'm not passionate about it, if I don't really want it, I'm not going to be motivated to work towards it, and it's just going to be a total waste of time. So make sure that the goals that you're setting are something that you really want to work on. That alone is going to give you the drive to basically set up and meet these goals. So I break down my process of meeting my goals into 4 steps. A brain dump for goals, the due dates, my plan, and how I measure. You can write these steps down: brain dump, due date, create a plan, and measure. These are the steps that I take. So when I talk about brain dump, I literally dedicate a page or 2 in my planner or notebook, notepad, to really think about this goal. I write it down, and I write down all the possible ways of me getting to this goal. Let's say I want to buy a house. What are some steps that people take in order to buy a house? What goes into buy a house? What should I know about buying a house? Where should I be financially when buying a house? If I want to get my own apartment, research that what a cost for apartments, utilities, things that I have to pay for on my own, the cost of just basically living on your own. The goal is not just I want to get my first apartment or I want to buy a house. You need to brain dump about the goal itself, write notes, possible outcome, things you need to work on, how you need to get there. These are just little things you're going to jot down to kind of get the process in your head going for thinking about this goal. So it doesn't matter how small my goal is. I personally want to start to go to bed by 10 o'clock instead of 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm going to research about insomnia. I'm going to research about the reasons why I am staying up at night. This is going to help me to work towards those things that are preventing me from going to bed early. So this is what my brain dump consists of. Reason why I'm not going to bed early. We're going to think about insomnia. I'm going to talk about things that are bothering me, personal issues that I'm going through. Whatever it is, all going to be related to just that one task. Me wanting to exercise more. Why am I not exercising? Reason 1 is fear. Reason 2 is not making time. It's just any little thing you can think about that relates to that goal and what I need to work on. So this is how I map out mine. I brain dump about it. and I keep all my brain dump to kind of help with the step 3. So once I've brain dumped everything about this particular goal, things that I need to do, things that may be preventing me from getting there. So these are going to be steps that I'm going to work on. I set my due dates. I always set a date, because if you don't have a date, then it's just a plan. It's not really your goal. Your goal needs to have a due date. So I need to get this done by, let's say, April. This is our time frame, April. Once I have my goals, I have my due date, I'm going to create a plan. So this is where the big brain dump page comes in. I look at everything that I brain dump about it and come up with my plan. So my particular goal, as an example, going to bed at 10 p.m. versus 2 a.m. All right, I know insomnia is one of the things that I had researched, but what I also researched some of the other things that's keeping me up at night. So I'm going through a stressful situation that I need to work on. And in order to work on that, I need to see a therapist. So that's going to be a part of my plan. Find a therapist to work through that issue. Some of the things that keep me up is that I'm watching Netflix late at night and I'm watching shows. Cut down Netflix is going to be a part of the plan. Maybe I'm on my phone at night. Get off phone by a certain time. And these are a part of my plans. I'm going to have due dates for these plans, because it's going to tie into me meeting that goal deadline date, which is the big date. So my brain dump, my date, my plans, no matter how many steps I need to take or little areas that I need to focus on to meet that big goal, I set time frames as far as when do I need to get all of these done, because it's all going to help me to meet my goal, which is the bigger due date. And then I measure. My measuring is basically setting up checkpoints in my planner throughout the time frame that I give myself to meet this goal, to see if I'm on progress to meet the goal at a certain time. So I may do bi-weekly. I give myself pre-questions. And I can't really give you the questions because these have to be specific to what you want to do. But I'm using my same example about going to bed early. I may have the first week, check in the first week, as far as the first goal, to kind of get you motivated and to keep going. You may want to check in every week or every bi-weekly. I don't suggest checking in every month, because that's so far in between, and there are things that may come up that you may need to change, and you can implement in the plan going forward, instead of wasting an entire month and realizing something isn't working out, and then you're already like 2 months in and not much progress has been made. So I will do, for my measure, I'll write in my planner on a specific date, and have I found a therapist yet? Am I cutting down my Netflix show? What time am I getting off the phone at night? It's just for me to have those steps back into my brain, because let's say from the first date we set the goal to the first week we check in, we forgot to do all of that. Now I'm checking in and I'm going to realize, oh, I haven't even did any of these things. I didn't even research a therapist yet, or things like that. So now it's back in my head, and I'm going to get back on track. So I'm going to repeat this as often as I need to, based on the plan that I created. And this is all going to help me meet that goal, because once I find a therapist, work through my issue, cut down my Netflix, get off my phone a certain time, maybe shower earlier could be something that I do. Put the kids to bed earlier. These are all things that I can do and put these in my plan. And it's going to help me to go to bed earlier, because the kids are going to go to bed earlier. I'm going to have more time for myself. If I shower earlier, I'm going to get sleepier. These are just some things that I've already brain dumped. This is why I'm saying them out loud, because it's already in my head as far as what I need to try to do. And this is all a part of that big picture. So it may seem like it's a lot of work. It's just so many different parts of it, but that's just how we stay on top of our goals. We can't just have a blanket goal that I want to go to bed early, and then every night I just try to go to bed a little bit early, and then it doesn't really work out. Sometimes we need to figure out the root cause of why we are at a state where we are in life with certain things that we want to work on. Like, I want to exercise more, I want to eat healthier. Okay, why am I not eating healthy? You know what? It's because I buy too much junk. All right, creating your plan is going to be limit the amount of junk food we buy every week, a gradual decrease. So these have to be specific to what you are trying to work on. Like, I want to buy a house. Let's say you want to buy a house, and I want to buy a house in November of 2022. It's January. How am I going to get there? I'm going to research everything about what I need to know about buying a house. And basically, I need to see if I am already at any of these stages into buying a house. You need to have good credit. Do I have good credit now? Let's say you don't have good credit. We're going to put that good credit on the plan. How do you fix your credit? Analyze your credit report. That's going to be a part of your plan. That's going to have a due date. That may be the first thing I need to do. But I'm not going to jump into this, I want to buy a house, and start looking at houses. You know, we have to work our way up to the bigger goal. And this is the only way, to me, I can effectively meet my goals if I create little steps that works its way up to the bigger plan. It all ties into the big goal. And I feel that that is what helps me to meet my goal, and it really sets me up for success, is because I take my time with the goal. I give myself time. I give myself grace when I mess up. I give myself room for errors. I also give myself room to change if I see something is not working out. You know, I may have this goal, and based on everything that I'm doing, I realize that it's not working out. So I need to maybe extend my due date, or create a different plan to meet that goal. It doesn't mean that I just stop working on the goal. I just kind of reevaluate my plan. And this is just my process of setting goals and meeting my goals. It doesn't matter how small the goal is. Yeah, a couple of the goals I mentioned to you, yeah, they're not as big as, you know, buying a house or a new car or something like that, moving across country. But to me, it doesn't matter how small it is. If you want to work on something that's going to be better for you personally, and you can make that a goal, your goal doesn't have to scare you in order to matter. I hate that saying about, if your goal doesn't scare you, if they're not big enough, that's BS. Your goal is whatever you want to work on, and something you want to work on and change or achieve in a specific time frame. This is just my interpretation of a goal. And there are so many ways to meet our goal, but the most important thing we can do to meet any goal is to be consistent with it and to dedicate our time. Like I said, we make time for whatever we want to work, whatever we want to, and we do have the ability to focus on a goal for a set time frame if we really want to do it. So these are just some of the steps that I take for myself. I'm not saying that every goal that I make is I achieve it. I didn't meet one goal this year with my Instagram growth, but it doesn't mean that I failed at it. I still did really well, and I'm just going to take that goal and move it over to 2022 to continue to meet that same goal. But like I said, set a goal that is realistic, something that you really want and you're passionate about. You need to dedicate the time towards it. Be real with yourself. Don't set unrealistic expectations. Don't set your goals based on what everyone else is doing. Don't feel like you need a million goals in your planner because everyone else has a million goals. Be realistic with yourself and think about your personal things that you want to work on for yourself. And it doesn't have to be really big. It could literally be having breakfast in the morning instead of skipping breakfast, or creating a hot meal at least 3 times a week or something like that. It could even be purchasing your first luxury item. How are you going to get there? Paying off debt. How are you going to pay off your debt? You want to pay off $20,000 in the year. Do I have money to pay off $20,000? What are some steps I need to take to paying off the $20,000? Do I have any extra money from my regular paycheck in order to pay off $20,000? Maybe I need to get a part-time job that pays $20,000 to pay off this debt. So you really need to think about all the avenues when it comes to setting a goal and how you're going to meet it, and create steps so you have something to check on along the way. And this is how we measure and make sure that we are on the track to meeting our goal. So I hope these tips were helpful to you. Like I said, give yourself grace, take your time, create a plan. Make sure the goals you're picking are realistic and they are something that you can actually meet, because we want to make goals that we know we can definitely meet. We don't want to be unrealistic. Be real with yourself. Make the time for it. Really brain dump about the goal, research, and anything that you can think of to get the ideas flowing. This is all going to help you in the direction that you're going to need to take in order to meet the goal. Create your plan with the same brain dump notes. If you have a lot of steps that's required to meet this goal, maybe you need to give yourself extended time to meet the goal versus, oh, I want to get this done in 3 months. Well, no, I can't, because I have all these things I need to do in order to be able to meet this goal. So maybe I need 6 months. So those are some things that you have to think about and take and create those steps based on the amount of work that it's going to take to meet this goal. And with everything that you need to work on that's a part of your plan towards this goal, give yourself time frame to get those done. Okay, by month 1, I need to do this, this, and this in order to be able to meet my big goal by my big due date. And check in often. You don't have to wait a week. You can do every couple of days, depending on how much you're craving this goal, how much you really want to meet this goal. Do every week, every bi-weekly. Monthly is a little bit tricky, but unless you know yourself and you know that you're consistent, monthly can work for some people. Some people need that constant reminder. And the biggest tip that I would say is to write your goals somewhere where you can see them. Maybe put it on a post-it note in your planner, the first thing you see, or on your wall, even a vision board. But look at this goal and look at it often, because the more you see it, the more you're going to work towards it. Don't forget to do your check-ins. Write out your question ahead of time and just put it in your planner for a specific date. Sometimes when we're doing these check-ins and we realize we're not doing as much as we should be doing, and we feel really bad about not meeting it, not being where we were supposed to be. If we had did everything that we planned to do, and that bad feeling sometimes will motivate us to get our act together and, all right, let's do this thing. So I hope these tips were helpful again. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'm just simply sharing just some things that I found that work for me, and hopefully it will kind of simplify it for you. I know it sounds like a lot again, but to me, this is the most effective way that I was able to meet my goal, by creating these steps. So thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next time.